This is the 11th question of UKMT exam of Senior Mathematical Challenge for year 2023. Question says Venulu, Xander, Yasir and Zoe makes the following statements. So Venulu says Xander is lying, Xander says Yasir is lying, Yasir says Zoe is telling the truth, and Zoe says Venulu is telling the truth. What are the possible number of people telling the truth? Okay. So assume that W is saying the truth for now. If W is saying the truth, it says X is lying. So X is lying. So it is telling the truth. X is lying. So Yasir is lying. So X is lying. That means Yasir is lying. That means Yasir is telling the truth. Okay, because X is lying. When I say L, that means lying. So when X is lying and X is saying Yasir is lying, that means Yasir is telling the truth. And Yasir is saying Zoe is telling the truth. Okay, so Zoe is telling the truth and Zoe says W is telling the truth. Yeah, W is telling the truth. So everything falls in place. So three of them say true. What are the possible number of people telling the truth? So three can say truth and one is false. In the next scenario, so one scenario was this is true, this is false, lying, and this is truth, and this is truth. This is one scenario. The second scenario, I will say that W is lying. Let's say the second scenario I'm writing here. W is lying. W says Xander is lying. Xander is lying is a lie. That means Xander is telling the truth. Xander says Yasir is lying. That means if Xander is telling the truth that Yasir is lying, that means Yasir is lying. Okay. And Yasir is saying Zoe is telling the truth. But Yasir is lying. That means Zoe is lying. And Zoe says W is telling the truth. But it is lying. So that means W is lying. And W is lying is correct. So this also works. So L, T, L, L. In this case, one is telling the truth. So in one of the cases, three were telling the truth, which is W, Y and Z tell the truth and X lies. Or you have a scenario where one tells the truth. Only X tells the truth. Rest of them, W, Y and Z, they lie. So one or three people can tell the truth. So answer option B, 1 or 3 is the right answer.